Hello everyone, kumusta? Ilan nanonood? Isa lang. Ako lang, pinapanood ko sarili ko. Kasi, hindi naman to live, no? Oo. Joke lang. Anyway, so our lecture for today, ilalagay ko to under ng favorite ko, Psychology of Religion and Spirituality. This is our lecture for today, the Psychology of the Vine and the Branches. For those of you who read the Holy Scriptures, kikilala nyo yung vine and branches, di ba? Sounds familiar. Ito yung sinabi ni Jesus in the book of John when he said, I am the vine and you are the branches. Whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing. So yung I dito, linawin ko lang, tsaka yung word na me refers to Jesus. May mga kausap siya dito. Okay, so si Jesus daw yung vine, tayo o yung mga kausap niya are the branches. Kapag yung mga tao malapit sa kanya, we will bear fruit. However, kapag malayo sa kanya, eventually, we can do nothing. Now, the reason why ginawan ko ng lecture itong John 15:5 is I would say this is one of the most psychological statements made by Jesus. In fact, if we dig deeper into this passage, we can say na meron siyang dalawang psychological claims. Number one, kiniklaim niya ni Jesus that spirituality is a protective factor, which means in psychology, pag sinabi mong protective factor, these are the things that protect you, that shields you from psychological risk. So sa Tagalog, maganda yung number one. Kapag malapit ka kay Lord, which is an indicator of spirituality, may mga magandang nangyayari sa mental health natin. And number two, another claim that he's making based on what he said in John, that spiritual deprivation, ito naman yung kabaliktaran, malayo ka kay Lord, hindi ka ganun ka-spiritual, is a risk factor. Maraming mga posibleng mangyaring hindi maganda sa mental health ng tao kapag malayo ka from or mababa yung level of spirituality mo. But I just want to focus on the words spiritual before we dig deeper into this kasi baka yung iba hindi familiar dito sa word na to, no? The word spiritual is very commonly used in the field of religion and spirituality. So ito yung maikling definition ng spirituality. This is a person's overall search for the sacred and your overall degree how connected you are to a transcendent being tulad ni Lord, such as God. Okay? So, yun yung ibig sabihin ng word na spirituality. Lagi mong iniisip yung mga sacred things. When you say sacred, ang contrast niyan is worldly things. So, when your awareness, kapag yung iniisip mo, it's always about things that are out of this world. Things about the spiritual realm. Iniisip mo ang Diyos. Iniisip mo yung heaven, yung hell, yung forgiveness, yung crucifixion, yung divine forgiveness. Yan, mga sacred things yan. Kung yun yung lagi mong iniisip, most likely, mataas ang spirituality mo. Also, add to that, sabi din dito sa second one, connection to the transcendent, kung ang priority mo is always to be near God. You want to sense that you are near God. You want to sense God's presence in your life. Most likely, you are a spiritual person. And again, hindi ito something na sa religion lang pinag-uusapan because this is a very busy area of research in psychology. Specifically under yan ng Psychology of Religion and Spirituality, i-zoom in natin. If you want to read more, you can read this handbook. This handbook contains different empirical studies that talk about spirituality. And more than that, baka lang naman kung malakas ako sa inyo, no, gumawa na ako ng lecture on that kung ano bang ibig sabihin ng pagiging spiritual. Baka naman. Baka naman. Kung malakas ako sa inyo, punta kayo sa YouTube channel ko and then you can watch this short lecture on what it means to be spiritual. Wherein in that lecture mas in-emphasize ko kung ano yung definition ng pagiging spiritual. So anyway, let's go back to the psychological claims and let's start with number one, when Jesus claimed that spirituality is a protective factor. Saan niya sinabi yan in the book of John? Yung sa first part ng statement niya when he said, whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. So, ibig sabihin lang yan, kung mataas yung level of spirituality mo, you are always connected to God. Hindi ka lumalayo kay Lord, may magandang mangyayari sa psyche mo or your spirit, which is what? You will bear much fruit. Of course, yung word na fruit dito, it's just a metaphor. But later on, as we go along, ipapakita natin yung mga examples of different psychological fruits that Jesus could be talking about in this statement. But let me start with the example of Job. So babalik tayo sa Old Testament. Ito kasi galing to sa New Testament, 'di ba? The book of John, New Testament. Balik tayo sa Old Testament. Good example nito is Job. Now, for those of you who read the scriptures, you know that Job, in one part of his life, if I'm not mistaken, chapter 1, nakareceive siya ng mga masasamang balita na talagang masisira yung mental health mo. Okay? Nakareceive siya ng mga risk factors to his mental health. Now, for those of you not familiar, ano yung mga na-receive na balita ni Job, na wala yung mga properties niya at namatayan siya ng mga anak all at the same time. So you translate that in psychological research, yan yung mga risk factors to mental health. Imagine mo kung ikaw si Job. Sabay-sabay nangyari all at the same time. Nawala yung mga ari-arian mo, you're a very wealthy person, and at the same time, yung mga mahal mo sa buhay were gone. Nagkaroon ng disaster, lahat sila namatay. That will definitely affect negatively your mental health. So naka-receive si Job ng mga risk factors. Now, if you read what Job did when he received the news, interestingly, ano yung naging response niya? He did not move away from God. Kasi, typically, let me emphasize the word typically, ang isang tao na makareceive ng ganyang balita, kapag naapektuhan siya ng mga risk factors psychologically, typically a person moves away from God. Medyo magtatampo kay Lord yan. Lord naman, lagi ako nagpe-pray sa'yo. Lagi ako nagbabasa ng Bible. Lagi ako nagpupunta ng simbahan. Nagbibigay ako ng tithe and offerings ko. Bakit may ganitong problema? Tampo ko sa'yo, ayaw na muna kita kausap. That's a typical response. Usually, people move away from God. But Job is a good example that in spite of the risk factors na natanggap niya, he sustained his distance from God. Nanatiling malapit pa rin si Job in the presence of God, because if you read what he did when he received the news, he worshiped. And worship is an indicator, it is an expression of spirituality. Hindi siya humiwalay kay Lord. Rather, lalo siyang kumapit, lalo siyang naging close kay Lord by worshiping God. So ito yung sinasabi ni Jesus na abide in me and I in him. Job was able to sustain that closeness with God. Got it? And fast forward, marami pa nangyari. Job chapter 1 yung mga sinabi ko, pero towards the end of the book of Job, around 40 plus chapters, because Job was able to sustain his nearness to God, ano nangyari? Nagkaroon siya ng fruit. Remember, yun yung sinabi sa first part of the statement by Jesus, you will bear much fruit if you sustain your nearness with me. If you sustain your intimacy with me. So si Job ba na-experience yan? Well, the answer is yes. Towards the end of the book of Job, nakareceive siya ng mga fruits from God wherein his possessions were doubled. Sabi nga dito, after Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his prosperity and doubled his former possessions. So again, if you want to read more, dig more about Job, you can just read his entire book in the Old Testament. But that is a biblical example, no? Labas tayo ng Bible, meron bang scientific support yung nangyari kay Job? From Job, meron bang empirical study that shows that people who sustain their nearness to God, who sustain their spirituality, nagkaroon sila ng spiritual fruit? I want to point out this study that you can just read online. So if you have time, pwede nyo i-download tong article na to and then read for yourself. Pero i-summarize ko lang yung article dito. These researchers wanted to find out, during COVID-19, which we all agree, talagang mahirap na crisis yan, marami tayong mga troubles, mga challenges that we faced during the pandemic, what enabled people to get through the pandemic? Sa Tagalog, ano yung nakatulong sa mga tao na malagpasan yung COVID-19 pandemic. So these researchers went to different parts of the world and asked people, paano nila nalagpasan yung pandemic? How did they face the difficult challenges of COVID-19? And guess what? One of the most common answers that these people gave them is spirituality. They were able to maintain their nearness, their intimacy with God. Okay, yun yung definition nila ng spirituality dito. Those people who remained close to God, nagkaroon sila ng mga spiritual quote-unquote fruits such as hope, meaning amidst chaos, strengthened mental fortitude, ibig sabihin naging matibay yung loob nila, naging matibay yung pag-iisip nila, and inner transformation. So you combine all these quote-unquote fruits, pwede mo nang tawagin fruits to, ito yung nagpasustain sa kanila in spite COVID-19. At paano lumabas yung mga fruits na yan? Through spirituality, they were able to sustain their nearness to God. Na-sustain nila yung high level of spirituality nila in spite of the difficulties. And then from here, if you read literature on the effects of spirituality to human beings, ang dami pa palang mga fruits that people can enjoy when we sustain our nearness with the transcendent such as God. Like in the literature, ito yung mga examples of fruits, no? Gumaganda yung physical health mo the closer you are with God. Okay? Higher spirituality means mas maganda ang mental health, mas nagiging maayos yung relationships mo, bumababa yung level of stress mo, mas humahaba ang buhay mo, and of course, mas nagkakaroon ka ng sense of purpose, which in the literature states na maganda sa mental health. Pag may nasa-sense ka na may purpose ka sa buhay, may purpose yung mga trials mo, bakit ka naghihirap ngayon, it becomes more bearable, therefore it saves your mental health. And again, paano mo makukuha yung numbers 1 to 6 when you sustain your spirituality? Ngayon, for those of you na medyo nakataas ang kilay, hindi naniniwala kay Job, hindi naniniwala sa journal article na to, maybe you can just go to your personal experience. Was there any time in your life where you are undergoing something and then you prayed about it and then napansin mo na kahit hindi pa na-solve yung problem mo, simply by praying about your problem at some point became lighter and more bearable? Nangyari na ba sa iyo yun? Na-experience nyo ba yun? Kung oo, at gusto mo ikwento ng maikli, ilagay mo dyan sa comment section. And kung may malalagay ka dyan sa comment section, could it be that is one support to the idea that maintaining closeness with God is indeed good for our mental health? Other than praying, there is another spiritual activity that sustains your nearness with God, which is worship. Now, for those of you who go to church every Sunday, meron ba kayong ganyang experience when after you worship, after the worship service, you felt refreshed? It made you feel better. Para kang na-recharge. Diba nangyayari yung worship na yan every Sunday? Nangyari na ba sa inyo na after the worship service, it seems like meron kang panibagong strength to face the next 5 days of your working life? For those of you na may mga ganyang experiences, again, kung okay lang, ikwento nyo ng mabilis dyan sa baba in the comment section. But again, regardless whether you experience the effect of praying or the effect of worshiping, ano yung common denominator niyan? That when you maintain your nearness, when you sustain your connection with the transcendent being who is God, it is generally good for your mental health. You enjoy certain psychological fruits. Just like what Jesus said when He said, balikan ulit natin, ano yung sinabi niya? When whoever abides in me and I in him, he it is that bears much fruit. Alright? Now, let's move on to number 2. Punta naman tayo doon sa claim niya that spiritual deprivation is a risk factor. Delikado sa mental health kapag lumalayo ka from the presence of your Creator, who is God. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Grabe yung statement na yan, ha? I mean, if you are a listener from afar and you hear someone saying this, parang ang i-conclude mo na ang yabang naman ito. 'Di ba? But when Jesus says things like this, Hindi siya nagyayabang eh. Most likely, this is the truth. So let's now find out if indeed this is the truth, no? If apart from Jesus, can we really do nothing? Okay? Now, I want to use those phrases or those words. I mean, apart from me. Yan yung magiging springboard ko. Apart from me. Translate in psychological research, ang ibig sabihin niyan, low level of spirituality. Question, ano kaya yung isang psychological condition of human beings that will make people apart from the transcendent, who is God? And you know, if you dig the literature on this, ang isa sa mga sagot dyan, what will make you separate from God? What will lower down your spirituality? It's materialism. Materialism is a way of life where a person is very focused on obtaining, collecting, hoarding material things. So kung ang goal mo sa buhay, ultimate goal mo sa buhay, is to gain something, to buy something for yourself, to enjoy for yourself, most likely mataas ang level of materialism mo. Halimbawa, ang goal mo sa buhay, makabili ng dream sports car mo. Ang goal mo sa buhay, makabili ka ng 5 investments. Ang goal mo sa buhay, mag-retire ng maaga para makapag-around the world ka at mangongolekta ka ng magnet sa ref from different countries. And then after obtaining all those things, masasabi mo na, pwede na akong mamatay. Yan. Most likely, kung ganyan yung attitude mo towards material things, it defines the overall value of your life. Most likely, mataas ang level of materialism mo. If you want to read more about what materialism is, this is a good article to read about. Yan. So, i-download nyo to and then read for yourself. Okay? Now, the thing is, again, people who are highly materialistic, according to the literature, is predictive of having low levels of spirituality. Laging ganun yung relationship ng spirituality and materialism. Kapag materyoso ang tao, mahilig sa pera, talagang ang goal niya is to gain material things, most likely, hindi siya ganun ka-spiritual. Kaya nga in the literature, ang treatment sa spirituality and materialism, para silang water and oil. They cannot intermix. In statistical language, they have inverse relationship. The higher your spirituality, the lower the materialism. The higher the materialism, the lower the spirituality. So again, I go back. In what certain situation are people more likely to be far from God or to have low spirituality? Yan ang sagot. According to the literature, it's materialism. And you know, whenever I think about this, na merong inverse relationship yung materialism and spirituality, again, I remember one of the teachings by Jesus about being worldly and being spiritual. Diba, in one of his teachings, Jesus talked about 2 kinds of treasures. The first treasure is worldly, the second treasure is heavenly or spiritual. And between the two, Jesus was not neutral. Hindi niya sinabi na, oh, bahala kayo, I respect you. Kung ang gusto nyong i-gather is worldly treasure or spiritual treasure. Merong preference si Jesus. If you read this passage, clearly, Jesus taught his disciples, taught his listeners that it makes more sense to gather spiritual treasures, not worldly or earthly treasures. So, hindi balanse si Jesus dito. Meron siyang pinapanigan na treasure. Okay? In another passage, tinuro din ni Jesus yung about the servant and the master, di ba? You cannot serve 2 masters. Let me read for you. I-zoom in natin. No servant can have 2 masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. Altogether read, you cannot serve both God and money. So you combine these words by Jesus to these words, you combine those 2 passages, again, more or less it supports that research trend that spirituality has an inverse relationship with materialism. Now, in the literature of materialism, ano yung mga specific outcomes na nangyayari sa mga tao kapag mataas masyado yung materialism, therefore bumababa yung level of spirituality? One good book to read about that is this book by Tim Kasser. Okay, Tim Kasser is a psychologist who specializes in the issue of materialism. So, in his book, inisa-isa niya yung mga known outcomes of people na mababa ang spirituality at mataas ang materialism. You can just read on your own, Numbers 1 to 10. Basahin ko yung iba. Lower life satisfaction, higher anxiety, lower esteem, greater negative affect, higher loneliness, lower sense of meaning in life. You combine Numbers 1 to 10, ang tawag dyan in psychological language, mga risk factors. Hindi magaganda sa mental health. These are the things that will more likely destroy a person's mental health. Kaya nga, by reading these things, no, I remember, ito na ba yung sinasabi ni Jesus na apart from me, you can do nothing. Kaya you can do nothing kasi nasira na yung psyche mo ng Numbers 1 to 10. Definitely mahirap mag-function if your psyche is destroyed by all these 10. Imagine mo, lahat yan sinira ka, Numbers 1 to 10, hindi ka talaga makakapag-function yan. You will not be able to do anything. And from there, let's talk about this in the macro level. Let's talk about our society, the Filipino society, which based on my observation, and you can disagree, I mean, di ko kayo pinipilit, but based on my observation, our society is a very materialistic society. Materialism is one of those cultures that being promoted in our society, which unfortunately many people, especially young people, integrate or absorb. Kaya marami mga tao ngayon matataas ang materialism. Now, one potential or partial support on that claim is the observation na marami mga Pilipino daw ngayon is medyo bumababa yung church attendance. As you can see in this item, 38% of Filipinos attend religious services weekly. Mababa. Okay? Now, again, you can interpret this in different ways. If you have a different interpretation, be my guest. Okay lang naman yun. But let me just interpret this in a specific way that fits this lecture. Wherein, could it be, nagtatanong lang, hindi tayo certain, but it makes sense, could it be, na ito is an indicator of materialism? Because going to church, attending religious services weekly is an expression of spirituality . Therefore, kapag yung mga tao sa isang society tumataas yung materialism, most likely, bababa yung spirituality as expressed through this one. Hindi na sila uma-attend ng mga religious services. Again, if you have different interpretations, okay lang. But at least for this lecture, I will use that interpretation. That this is an indicator of decreasing spirituality of Filipinos. Alright? Now, let me read to you a piece or a material na hindi alam kung sino ang author but makes a lot of sense in connection to this observation. It is entitled The Paradox of Our Time. Etong paradox of our time, kaya ako ito babasahin because it enumerates different possible outcomes of having low levels of spirituality, or in the language of Jesus, being apart from God. And those outcomes will be in color red. So babasahin ko itong paradox of our time. Mag-focus kayo sa mga red words because those red words are indicators or possible outcomes of low spirituality. And since we are talking about the Filipino society, gusto ko, ang gagawin nyo as I read this is to reflect if these red words are observable in our society. If these red words you can see in the lives of people you know, or maybe these red words apply to you. Kung ikaw mismo mataas ang level of materialism mo at mababa yung spirituality mo, how true are these red words today? Let me read for you. Ready? Sabi ng paradox of our time, the paradox of our time in history is that we have taller buildings but shorter tempers, wider freeways but narrower viewpoints. We spend more but have less. We buy more but enjoy less. We have bigger houses and smaller families, more conveniences but less time. We have more degrees but less sense, more knowledge but less judgment. More experts yet more problems, more medicine but less wellness. We drink too much, smoke too much, spend too recklessly, laugh too little. Drive too fast, get too angry. Stay up too late, get up too tired. Read too little, watch TV too much, and pray too seldom. We have multiplied our possessions but reduced our values. We talk too much, love too seldom, and hate too often. We've learned how to make a living but not a life. We've added years to life, not life to years. We've been all the way to the moon and back but have trouble crossing the street to meet a new neighbor. We conquered outer space but not inner space. We've done larger things but not better things. We've cleaned up the air but polluted the soul. We've conquered the atom but not our prejudice. We write more but learn less. We plan more but accomplish less. We've learned to rush but not to wait. We build more computers to hold more infos to produce more copies than ever, but we communicate less and less. These are the times of fast food and slow digestion, big men and small character, steep profits and shallow relationships. These are the days of two incomes but more divorce, fancier houses but broken homes. These are the days of quick trips, disposable diapers, throwaway morality, one-night stands, overweight bodies, and pills that do everything from cheer to quiet to kill. It is a time when there is much in the show window and nothing in the stockroom. Pause right there and reflect. Kamusta yung mga red words na nakita nyo? Do you think this applies to our society in general? Do you think this applies to people you know who are high in materialism and low in spirituality? Or does this apply to you? But one thing I want to ask more is, especially in that last line, nothing in the stockroom. Could it be na itong nothing in the stockroom na to, na sinasabi in the material, is the same nothing that Jesus was talking about in that passage? That apart from me, you can do nothing. Which means, having low levels of spirituality, most likely, we end up being like this of the red words. Diba? Could it be na yun na yung sinasabi ni Jesus na nothing? Combine all those red words, we become numbers 1 to 10. It destroys us spiritually. In closing, as I end this lecture, alam niyo naman ako, marami akong naiisip na questions, no? And I want to ask the following questions in the form of could it be's. Number 1, given all these things I've shared in this lecture, could it be that Jesus knows psychology? Nagbasa ba siya ng journal article? Gumawa ba siya ng research? Nagbasa ba siya ng textbook in psychology? Kasi it seems like yung statement niya, even before the formal age of science, was very accurate. What happens to you when you are spiritual? What happens to you if you are not that spiritual? Partida na yan, wala pa siyang statistics niyan. Wala pa siyang data gathering procedure dyan. Ang ginawa niyang method was revelation, yet it seems like his statement was very accurate, measuring it in the standard of modern science today. Kaya nga, naisip ko lang din, still in connection to number 1, si Jesus kaya nag-psychology. Kaya nga yung title ng thumbnail ko, no, is Jesus a psychology major? Of course, we know the answer, hindi siya psychology major, no? But you get the point. And if the answer is yes, Jesus knows psychology, ang implication niyan, could it be, it makes sense if we consider what Jesus says about the psyche. Because if you read the Gospels, guess what? Ang dami-dami mga psychological statements ni Jesus that you can test empirically in modern day psychological science. And believe it or not, marami sinasabi si Jesus about the psyche that really makes a lot of sense, even before modern day psychological science. Number 2, could it be that we are spiritual beings with spiritual needs? Could it be that one of the reasons kung bakit kulang tayo sa fulfillment, bakit hindi tayo nagiging happy, bakit parang hindi natin aabot yung purpose natin in life is because we are not giving ourselves the spiritual needs that we need to have, because we have been conditioned by our materialistic society to satisfy only our physical needs. Could this explain depression? Could this explain anxiety? Could this explain insecurity? Could this explain instability? Posible kaya na yung mga sinabi ko are all signs of spiritual hunger that we have because we are not giving ourselves the needs that our spirit needs, which are spiritual in nature. Kaya nga ang tanong ko sa inyo, for those of you who are watching now, are you meeting your daily spiritual needs? And last one, number 3, still in connection to number 2, is it possible that we need spiritual solutions? Could it be that one of the sources of our problems, bakit nagugulo yung life natin, bakit mababa yung well-being natin, is because there is a mismatch between our problems and the solutions that we use to solve those problems. Are we solving spiritual problems with physical solutions? Baka kaya hindi nasa-solve yung problem or short-term lang yung pag-solve ng problem. May solution ka ngayon, problema na naman bukas, at bukas mas malaki pa yung problem. Why? There's a mismatch. Baka kasi yung mga solution mo sa spiritual problems mo are physical rather than spiritual. Could it be may limitations yung mga solutions such as stress eating, such as physical exercise, such as buying something for yourself to feel good. Now, don't get me wrong. Hindi ko sinasabing masama yung tatlong sinabi ko, but could it be that those are just temporary fixes to a deeper problem? Could it be that the best way to solve spiritual problems is to use spiritual solutions? Something to think about. Alright? So yun lang yung maikli kong lecture about the psychology of vine and branches. If you have any insights, comments, or questions, ilagay nyo lang dyan sa baba. Until the next lecture, sana marami kayong natutunan. Sir Howard here. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.